Happy Tuesday, everybody. We're going to start in about 1.5 minutes, and we're going to start seated in a cross-legged position. So if you want to sit on something, by all means, grab it. We don't necessarily need any props for today's class, but that doesn't mean you can't have them around. I always enjoy sitting on props, especially since my hamstrings are super tight. Anything that lets me relax them a little bit in my practice, I'm all for. Now, whether that's good for me long term, probably not the best, but that's the beginning of a rise and shine practice. Yes, we want to work on making ourselves better, but the main idea is just to get ourselves moving. So. Once you've gotten yourself situated, just relax, take a load off, and breathe the way that you want to. If you just joined us, welcome to practice for today. We are going to spend the next 2 minutes in a seated position, hopefully sitting up nice and tall, hopefully shoulders back. And either closing your eyes or staring at a point on the floor, the wall. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Acknowledging thoughts that pass by, saying thank you for coming, I will deal with you in 45 minutes. Setting any intentions you may want for today's class, thanking yourself for what you've already done today and what you are accomplishing in life, no matter how small. Today we're going to be doing a lot of side stretches. Okay, so we're sitting up nice and tall if we weren't already. Hint, hint. Pulling the shoulders back, sitting up nice and tall. Walking those fingertips forward. Now, because I'm elevated, I'm going to go a lot farther forward than you probably will. That's okay. Come on back. Twist one way. I'll twist the other way. Back to the center and switch those legs. Sitting up nice and tall and rolling those shoulders back. And then walking those fingertips forward. twist one way. And the other. Come back to the center. Take one arm and come up and over. So we're not really leaning over yet. We're just coming up and over and just stretching here, sitting up nice and tall. And then switch it out. Come back down. Let's add a little bit more of a bend. So we're not going over far, just a little. And switch. And now let's come over as far as you want. And switch. And release. Come on to all fours, however you want to get there. If you have a proper pillow, just kind of push it out of the way. We can use it for our Shavasana later, but we got some work to do first. So let's come into a nice tabletop position, and we're just gonna wag our imaginary tail side to side. Stop on the right side and look over your right shoulder towards that beautiful glute. And switch it over. Come back to the center. All right, so we're gonna go through some cat-cows. We're really gonna exaggerate the motions and kind of go through it like a little bit of a wave. So I'm gonna come up to my cat and then go into my cow and then come back up to my cat. And if you're like, Jen, I don't know what you're doing, cat-cow is perfectly fine. I'm just adding a little fluidity. Next time I get to cat, I'm going to stay there and hold. And then go into my cow and hold. Come back to neutral. Bring your forearms to the ground. Slide your knees back slightly. Hips go up towards the sky and head goes down towards the mat for puppy posture. I think this is one of my favorites. It really stretches out my back, I feel, without having to go into a full downward dog. I'm going to turn on my side. I'm going to have my right knee on the ground. I'm going to have my right hand on the ground, and I'm going to have my left leg out to the side. I'm just here, hanging out. Now I'm going to do is take my left arm up in the air and big side stretch here. So I want my shoulders to be stacked on top of each other here. And then I'm going to release, and I'm going to set up for the same thing on the other side. So switching over, my supporting knee, my supporting hand, and my supporting foot. And I'm going to come up, and I'm going to stretch. And then I'm going to release. I'm going to go back to side one again, and I can either stay where we were, or I can lift this leg up off the ground. My choice. That leg can go up as high as it feels comfortable, but we are going to still do that side stretch. So get your side stretch first, and then if you want, lift that leg. Down. And switch sides. So first we're going to come up, get that stretch going, and then lift that leg. And come on down. Let's go back into that puppy posture. Give those wrists a little bit of a second. Remember, glutes are in the air, forehead is on the ground. So are our forearms with our fingers spread nice and wide. Everything feels good. Let's go into a full downward dog. Otherwise, stay puppy. Big breaths. And then walk those feet to meet the hands, or if you're a puppy, stand on up, however you would like. And we're gonna roll up nice and slow. We'll wait here for everyone to catch up. We're here in mountain. Taking nice, big, deep breaths. And of course, we're going to side stretch up here, because why not? Cross your right leg over your left and grab your right wrist over top and slight pull. And release. Other side, other leg, other arm. staying it nice and tall. Imagine you have a weight in one hand, and all you're going to do is you're going to let that weight bring you down. And then that weight is going to magically jump, and we're going to switch. And we're going to switch. And we're going to switch. I'm going to do one more time each side, and switch. And switch. Stand up nice and tall, bring those arms behind you, big chest opener. And release. Take your feet a little bit wider apart, a little bit narrower than your shoulders, and you're just going to take your arms and you're going to bend your knees slightly and come on up, and then come on down. So tiny little goddess squats. If you want to go deeper, you can. For right now, we're pretty shallow. I'm going to do 3 more. Then we're going to stand up, and we're going to swan dive down, keeping a nice flat back with hands on the thighs or the shins. Then we're going to bend those knees generously and put those hands on the ground. And we're going to put one foot back and the other foot back and come into table. I'm going to kick our right foot back, and we're just going to do some little circles from the hip. And switch direction. Bring that knee into the chest, and then bring that foot right up in front. Roll on up, low lunge. Don't fall over. Nice and tall. And if you want your hands down by your side or on your thigh, cool. Otherwise, have them up towards the sky. And we're going to open up one way, those arms. And then bring them up, and then open up the other way. And come on up. Bring those hands down and come back into tabletop. Hold here for 1 second. And then bring that left leg behind you, and let's do some hip circles here. And switch direction. Bring that knee into the chest, and then pull up that foot there on the ground. And roll it on up. Making sure we're nice and secure and stable here. Hands on the thighs. Take a second, or just the one thigh, I should say. And then you can decide where you want your hands. Open up one way. And come up. Open up the other way. And come up. Bring those hands down. Back into table. Sit it back for a second. Roll those shoulders forward twice. And backwards twice. Are you ready to do that in a high lunge? If not, stay in the low, no worries. But we're gonna come into a downward dog. We're gonna lift the right leg up high. We're gonna bring that knee in, and we're gonna stand on up into a high lunge. Take a couple seconds here, get yourself balanced. Figure out where you want your hands, and put them where they're going. Open up one way. On up. Open up the other way. And come up. Bring those hands down. Back to downward dog. Left leg goes up and back. And bring that knee in. Put that foot on the ground. Stand on up. Get yourself balanced. Figure out where you want your hands and put them there. Open up one way. And up. And open up the other way. And up. Bring those hands down. Come back to downward dog. And then drop those knees. Sit back on the heels. Roll those shoulders a little bit, one way, and then the other. Next, we're gonna go back into those high lunges, and we're gonna add a little twist in. So if you want to stay on the ground, you do that in a low lunge. If you want to stay in the high lunge, but don't bring in the spinal twist or the rotation, that's fine. You can do what we just did. Or you pick your very own, whatever you want. Beauty of home practice. Okay, back into our downward dog. Right leg up and behind. Bring that knee in and foot on the ground. Roll on up. So we're here. When we're ready, hands in the center of our chest. And we're going to take this left arm, we're going to put it on top of this right thigh, and we're going to twist. If we'd rather twist with our arms this way, that's totally fine. Our hands this way, that's totally fine. Okay, and let's go. We're going to hold here for 20 seconds. $17, $18, $19, $20. Hands on the ground. Come back. Downward dog. Take a second. Lift the left leg up and behind. Bring that knee in and on the ground. Roll it on up. Take a second. Get your balance. Hands in the center. And let's twist the other way for 20 seconds. $17, $18, $19, $20. Come on down, back to plank. Tabletop, sit back on the heels. Looking good, looking good. All right, side plank time. So, I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see me. But we're gonna be on our forearms, and if you would like to fold your mat over on top of itself, please do so. I think I'm probably gonna do that. And I can be on your knees, so you can be here in your side plank. You can have your feet out and wide with your side plank, or you can have your feet stacked on top of each other for your side plank. That is completely up to you. Although I do want you to start out with a side that you think you're going to have more problems with as far as your balance goes or the stability in your shoulder. We're going to start with that side first because whatever the time is that you can hold for that one, we're going to hold for the other side. I'm going to count slowly to 30 seconds. You can adjust the placement of your feet or your knees at any given time, but just make sure you're paying attention so you can match the other side. And we are on our forearms, not our wrists here. And I would like you, as much as it is a difficult thing to do, try your best to devise the weight amongst your whole hand and arm as compared to just on the elbow. And I know I do that all the time, but you're really trying to roll yourself forward a little bit so you're putting that weight all along that forearm. Okay, so pick the position of your legs, and your upper arm can be wherever it needs to be for stability and balance. So, on your mark, we're only going to do this one time. Get set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Drop it down. Give yourself a second. Grab some water if you want. We're going to flip on over and do the exact same thing on the other side. Remember, whatever modifications you made to one side, you make to the other. Now I'm going to flip and face backwards. I promise I'm doing the same exact thing we just did. Find the position of your forearm. Find the position of your feet. And we're going to lift in 3, 2, 1, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Come on down. And now I'm going to sit back on my heels. That's going to be the most challenging thing of today's workout, I think. Okay, we're going to go through our lunges one more time, except we're going to add in a reverse warrior to do another side stretch because we can. And we might throw in a front side stretch too. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so if you feel good, you want to grab some water. We're coming back to our last time through on each side of downward dog. So we're here. And we're going to lift our right leg up and behind. We're going to bring that knee in, and we're going to pop that foot on the ground. This time we're going to rotate our back foot. So my foot in the back is facing this way. My foot in the front is facing this way. So I literally can draw a line from the arch of my foot to the midline, my heel of my right foot into the midline of my arch on my left. Words are hard sometimes. Okay, so we're here. Our pelvis is tucked under, and our arms are out, and we're leaning forward on that front foot. We can still see our toes. I'm going to flip my top hand facing up. I'm going to come up over, and I'm going to reach back. I'm going to turn this way. For anyone who's new to the practice, so you can see what I'm doing. This hand here is just for stability. I'm not holding on for dear life. And again, good stretch right in here. And I'm going to come back to my warrior two. I do that 2 more times. So come up, over, and back, and hold. Into our warrior two. And then come up, over, and back. And into our warrior two. Straighten those legs, bring those arms down. I would like you to bring those arms back up and just bend forward. This leg is straight, this leg is straight. This hand is on the inside of my right calf, shin area. Maybe it's in by my thigh, that's fine. And I'm gonna open up that torso to face forward. And my other arm can be up high or it can be back behind, whatever feels better. I'm gonna come on up. I'm gonna go in that position one more time. So I'm gonna see maybe if I need to make any sort of adjustments. My hips are tucked under, my butt's not sticking out. And my hands are here and I'm not holding on for dear life with any of those hands. They're just there. Stability, control, balance, not grip. Okay, so let's go back down again. And I feel more comfortable having this arm back here, but you may have that hand up towards the ceiling. And come on up. And we're gonna do a nice little cartwheel with our arms. And we're gonna come back to plank into all fours and sit back on the feet. One more time, that same exact routine, using the left side, and then we'll begin to cool down for the day, because class is a blank. Okay, downward dog. Left leg up and back. Bring that knee in. Pop that foot on the ground. Pivot on that back leg, and come on up. So we're here. Hips are tucked under. Everything is good. Warrior two, hands and arms. Remember, we're tipping that palm facing up. We're coming up, over, and back. We're opening that up. And we're coming back to our warrior two. Make sure we're really leaning into that front leg. Come up, over, and back. And back to normal, or back to our warrior two. Nothing's really normal. I'm leaning forward, up and back last time. And come back up. Straighten those front legs, bring those hands down for a second. Remember, we're leaning forward, hips are tucked under. Bring those arms out, and let's tilt it forward. And because I had that hand go back on the last side, I'm having this hand go back on this side as well. And we're gonna come up. We're gonna make any adjustments we need to make. Double check where our body is in space. And then lean it forward. Hand back or up. And come on up. Cartwheel those hands down. Plank, tabletop, and sit on the heels. Awesome work. We're gonna move our legs around in front. So we're sitting at a nice 90-degree angle or staff pose. And we are going to begin to cool it down. Okay, so we're here and we're just pointing and flexing those feet, moving those legs around. Whatever feels good. And then we're bringing the feet in together, grabbing the toes, nice flat back and leaning forward. And then cross your legs, doesn't matter which, because we're going to switch in a second. I'm going to have one arm on the ground, and the other arm up and over. And I think I'm actually going to go into the forearm. If this arm is down there, just want to get a little bit farther of a stretch. I should be getting more of a stretch than I did 40 minutes ago, or 30 minutes ago for sure. And switch it out. And release, and you know the drill. Switch the legs. First side, up and over. And switch up and over. And release. Let's lay on our back and we're going to do some single leg bridges, unless you're like, no, not doing it. And then you can do double leg bridges. So no worries. We're just gonna lay back on our back. And I'm gonna bring my left leg and I'm gonna cross it over my right, like we're doing a figure 4 stretch. Instead of doing a figure 4 stretch, we're going to do a bridge here in this position. If you don't want to do it here, foot on the ground, no worries. Hands down by your side, fingertips spread nice and wide. And 10 times we're very slowly and with control going to go up and down. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now we're going to switch it out. Other leg. Same thing, up and down 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Straighten out those legs. Walk those feet towards the left bottom of the mat and cross your right leg over the left. Bring those arms up overhead and grab your right wrist and pull over slightly. All right, release that. Walk the feet over to the right side of your mat. Cross your left leg over your right and grab your left arm and pull over slightly. Come back to the center. Release those feet. Grab those knees. Give yourself a giant hug. And we're going to rock forward and back 5 times and then sit up. We're going to do a Russian twist here for a little ab before we do our final relaxation. Okay, so we're going to do 2 rounds. The first round, everyone has their feet on the ground. Second round, if you want to lean back and have your feet up, you may do so. Otherwise, feet can be on the ground. So we're going to have in our hand an imaginary beautiful object of our choice. And we're going to lean back and we're going to tap that object down to one side. And then we're going to tap that object down to the other side. If you cannot reach the ground, that's totally fine. Just guesstimate, let's say maybe you're that far from the ground. Make sure you're that far from the ground on the other side. We're going to do 5. So to the right and to the left is 1. All right, lean back. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Roll it on up. Now, if we want, we can lift those feet up. So we're leaning back, feet are up off the ground, imaginary object, and let's twist. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Beautiful. Grab those knees and roll yourself all the way down to the ground for our Shavasana for a 2-minute relaxing pose. And if you want to use a prop, if you want to grab a blanket, whatever makes you happy. Wiggle those fingers and toes and roll on to a side and use your upper body to push yourself up. And come into a position where you're giving your knees a giant hug. Your back is nice and tall. Give you a second to join me. Sometimes it takes a little longer to get up. Totally understand. And once I'm here, I'm just going to drop my head and stretch out the back of my neck. turn and face one way. Then I'm going to turn and face the other way. I'm going to come back to the center and jut that chin out and look up. And release. We're done. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I always appreciate the company. And hopefully I'll see you again on Thursday. Have a great day.